What's
I
the
mean,
craziest thing you've personally cut with a cheese grater?
oh man, that's a good question. I think I've used it as an instrument once. I don't know if that counts.
But Dylan, what's going on? So I didn't really I told a couple people that you're coming on Opal and Lab that you're a musician, and I'm gonna call you a musician whether you like it or not. Mike didn't like that I called him an artist. He was like, I'm a digital producer, and I was like, Mike, fuck off. I love you. You do art. You sell it on Sundays at the Melrose Trading Post. You're an artist. So I'm calling you a musician, whether you like it or not, which I'm sure you actually embrace it very, very much so. How long have you been doing music and playing instruments?
Dude, that's funny, Mike.
Good old
Um,
Mike.
yeah, I can see why Mike would be like digital producer because he is. He's
Yeah,
definitely by day. Dude,
right.
Mike's like a full-blown artist.
I know. Well, that's my other thing
You're
too. He's done
biased.
just about every single one of your. I think he did the wheel. How we really feeling? Glassy eyes, right? Like the cover
Yeah, he
art for all of
definitely.
your
Yeah,
all
we
your things.
definitely we were pretty tapped in last summer, but I started doing all my own art.
Yeah, the
Um,
poison and justice, right?
yeah, yeah, some of those songs for
Did you do the
sure.
wheel as well, or was that Mike?
Yeah, he did that one. That's a cool, yeah,
I
piece of
wish I
art.
could. I wish I could pull it up bigger on my screen. Oh, started playing it. I did play a little bit of it earlier. You got some fans. You got some fans. But how long have you been playing for? You've been playing for a good minute, right?
Yeah, dude. So yeah, basically, um, my dad, he's a musician. He's mainly a guitarist, and he would play all the time, like in the house growing up. So I picked it up when I was probably like 9 or 10,
Wow.
and it just like yeah naturally kind of like I guess I gravitated towards it, and I don't know, I've just been rocking with it ever since. Like very consistently playing guitar, and then I kind of just like taught myself a bunch of other instruments, and so yeah,
What other instruments do you know?
yeah. I know how to play drums. I know how to play bass guitar. I'd say my bread and butter is guitar, and
Oh,
then I
for
can
sure.
play a little bit of like keyboards, and then yeah, I sing now. So I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
know
that
you're
counts as an
using my
instrument.
keyboard for a little bit. No,
Yeah,
music, singing is definitely an instrument. I mean, your vocals are an instrument, 110%. But that's sick. Okay, so what inspired you to try to turn this into a career? And I mean, you're doing very well. I see it becoming a career for you. So what inspired that move?
yeah. I mean, to be completely transparent, it's definitely not like a full-time thing for me right now. But I mean, that's always the hope and the dream. I think like my dream would be to do it, like to tour a bunch, like throughout the year.
Mhm.
um, and also do tech stuff on the other side, like on the other part of the year. But I mean, in terms of me kind of like ramping up the project, I mean, I started my project, Me&Mauve, almost 2 years ago in Hollywood, right?
Right.
Where you're at, yeah. So, I mean, I've definitely gotten more serious about it the last 2 years, like consistently. Um, and there's definitely a lot of inspiration behind the project. I'm happy to talk about that and other stuff, whatever direction we want to go in.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something about touring and everything. When do you see yourself going on stage and everything? Because you haven't done that yet, correct? Or
I've played a
not?
couple. Yeah,
Not as Me&Mauve. I mean.
yeah. No, I did a couple shows as Me&Mauve. I mean, I did a couple
Oh, that's
shows
right.
like
Chasers.
Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase. He put on a show in the desert, and I played that. It was like a small sort of like show in Joshua Tree, I think. Yeah, and then like I don't know, some other shows that like I guess didn't really count, but like I played at Noah's, which was fun. Like that was definitely a live
Oh
performance
yeah,
though.
yeah, that definitely
Like
was. Yeah, I guess I
yeah,
didn't really think that through fully whenever I asked it. But
no worries, dude.
do you see yourself trying to get onto some stages and everything in the near future since you are building up a little repertoire? Do you want to get a certain amount of songs put together before you move on to that?
Yeah, no, I have enough material right now to play a short set. I would love to play soon. I guess I'd have to clear out space to do it, emotional space, and definitely rehearsal time to get ready to do. some live stuff because you don't want to be forgetting those lyrics on stage, boy.
No, you definitely don't. I mean, and it's amazing that you can write the lyrics, spend so much time on a song, and still forget them in the middle of it. I'm sure you can't even remember most of your first lyrics from your first songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that works. But an interesting thing that I was thinking about whenever you do go on tour, you make the beats and everything yourself, right?
Yeah. Me&Mauve, it's an independent solo project, and I do everything from the production, like the beat making, to writing the lyrics and all the inspiration behind it, to mixing it and doing all the arranging. And then I normally send it off for mastering.
Well, uh, we'll get into that. But one thing, whenever it comes to touring, do you think you'll have to put a band together whenever it does come to that? Or are you just gonna try to rock out with the whole thing, and that's why you're concerned about remembering the lyrics and everything?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to do like a full-blown band. I mean, a four-piece band would work great, or even a five-piece band with this project because it's always um, on the records. It's bass, guitar, drums always, so that's enough for three on stage. And then there's vocals, but I
Four,
play
no.
guitar, so I could do vocals and guitar. And then we would always have room for anybody else who wants to sit in and do keyboards. So like five would be great. I think that the project would sound good on stage with three people, like to really have a full sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because that's what I was thinking. You'd need a lot of background beats and everything to actually keep up with, your music and everything if you didn't have a full band. And you did perform with a couple people at Chase's show, right?
Yeah. That was fun. That was a cool setup. That was it was I was singing obviously, and I was also playing guitar, a lot of rhythm guitar, and then we had Kareem playing like lead guitar, and then Chase played bass, and then we had our friend Alan, who goes by the name of Ghost. He's a DJ. He was doing all of the bottom end, so like all of the like the instrumental part, like the drums and all that. So yeah, it turned out to be like four-piece electronic setup. Yeah, that worked pretty well for the project, I think.
And did y'all have to rehearse for weeks before, or was it just kind of a musical impromptu? They were able to hear it and kind of go with it?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Well, I mean, when Chase and I lived together, we were honestly jamming like once or twice a week, just like screwing around in the living room. He honestly knew all the songs up until the performance, but we did rehearse probably like, a few times a week up until the performance, like for those 2 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kareem came over and we jammed a little bit, like probably twice before. And then honestly, Alan, we hadn't even really got with him and like, played at all. So he just off the cuff, like,
Wow.
he learned how to mix in and do, yeah. So he's props to him, man. Shout out to Alan.
Shout out to Alan. Is he
Yeah.
also doing a musical career and everything as well, or just loves it for the fun and just ended up being there, ended up working out that way?
Alan's actually a clairvoyant.
What?
I'm just kidding. No, not at all. Yeah.
Don't even know
A-
it.
yeah. No, dude, you should look it up.
Yeah, clairvoyant.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
yep.
it's. Yeah, I
Supernatural
think
ability to
it's.
perceive events in the future. Yep, a
Yeah.
little slow.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
doesn't do that. I don't know what he does full time, but he's definitely, yeah, he records. He does like DJ stuff. He makes like house, like I think like deep house and trance stuff. Kind of just on the side.
Oh,
So.
wow, that's sick. And that's interesting. So would you be interest something that's never done before just popped into my head as an idea. A traveling not a traveling band, but picking bands from certain cities and getting rehearsals if you were ever to go on tour. Kind of just since you don't have a band fully formed, would forming a band be more interesting to you?
Yeah, I mean, although I want to keep the project solo, meaning just me, um, and on the recording side, just me. Um, I mean, I would love to see. Uh, yeah, I mean, I would definitely be open to playing with bands in other cities. I think from a practicality standpoint, it would probably make more sense to have a band that I tour with, two or three people.
Right.
One guy on bass, one person on guitar or whatever type. Yeah, like standard touring.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. Nice. Nice. Your camera did cut off, by the way. I don't know if.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Back
like I
on.
said, it doesn't matter if you want to do camera or not, you know. But also, like you said, you know, I think it builds. Because I mean, for me, I hate this shit. You know, like being on camera doing the whole thing. It's nerve-wracking, but I guess, you know, it preps you for, you know, your on-stage performance in the future, doing stuff like
Yeah.
this, you know. So I thought the
Yeah.
camera would help you a little bit. Uh,
Totally.
but we're getting so whenever you're going to make a beat, what is the or a song? What is the first thing that you think about when going to make a song?
Yeah. No, that's a good question because it's case by case. So like a lot of times when I have I mean, I'd probably I draw inspiration from a lot of different things, but the way that I um jot that inspiration down is probably in the form of two ways. Like I'll either, write it down in my notes in my phone or on my whiteboard. Like I have a whiteboard over here, or I'll hum it or like beatbox it into my voice memos, like my voice notes on my phone. So I'll
Uh-huh.
just use those as like blank canvases almost, and then when I want to make a song, I'll pretty much just always refer to like both of those, either or mix them in, and yeah, we just start rocking. So
That's awesome. Because I always found that I always was confused on what came first, the lyrics or the beat. And so I mean, yeah, I guess it could be either or. And well, that's wait, what the hell? Sorry. Had it glitching out. Whenever you do talk about inspirations, who are some of your biggest inspirations right now in the music scene?
yeah, no, that's another good question. Like right now, like people who are more
Right now,
prominent
yeah, yeah,
artists,
yeah,
or
yeah. Relevant right now, yeah. And
yeah, for
you can do
sure.
past as well, but I like the music right now. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I would say SG Lewis is he's a big influence. Jungle was for a while, but I started to move out of that sort of dance, like kind of new soul space. I would say Leisure is a huge influence. Who I know Mike Jock likes a lot, and Noah they like. I also I like Emotional Oranges. They're dope. So sort of like indie dance R&B vibes, like electronic. I'm super into that stuff right now.
Well, essentially, what inspired you? Which, by the way, what would you consider your music to be? Because I had no idea what to call it, so I just tagged dance music, world music, and
Yeah.
indie music. I don't know what you'd classify it as, but I'm also horrible at classifying music.
Yeah, aren't we all? Honestly, I don't really think I'm that good, especially because like, oh, dude, with the spread of information and it's so easy to produce like from anywhere. I mean, it's so genreless. I feel like these days, but I would say where I fall is probably with the music that I've put out more recently, and what you're gonna hear in the spring is probably like, um, yeah, like indie pop, dream pop, bedroom pop, indie dance music for sure. Yeah, some of that stuff.
And while you're doing all this, what do you do to keep yourself afloat? I wanted to put what you do on the side in my notes, but I know you also kind of hop around to whatever kind of suits you at the time. So what are you doing right now, and what have you done to kind of hold this up and keep yourself going in the meantime?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say, well, to be honest, I have a full-time job, and I'll always try to have like a full-time job while I'm, doing music for sure. Um,
Of course.
so right now, I work as a digital web specialist at a law firm, and yeah, I've just been doing web stuff the last 2 years. Like, I didn't get a degree for it, but I just started teaching myself the technologies at the beginning of the pandemic, and sort of just been like building up my resume ever since. Like as I get more experience, I kind of like getting with better companies.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've been hopping around a little bit, and it does help. Um, yeah, for me to be able to like do this stuff. Like currently, my job's great. I mean, it's remote, so I'm able to you know make music like right after work and stuff, rather than like waste an hour on commuting. So
Yeah.
it definitely gives me a lot of great opportunities, and I like the work too. Like I'm really into web stuff, so.
Yeah, what inspired the web stuff? Because you did just all of a sudden take off with that. I remember one day I came over and you were just in coding classes, and then it's been one web job to the next. And you've been with the law firm for quite a while now, right? I want to say probably 6 months.
Yeah. I've been with the law firm for just shy of 6 months. It's going well. Yeah, I mean, kind of what inspired the motive was, yeah, I mean, I was working in the music industry, as you know, for a couple years, like when I'd first gotten out here, right around when you got out,
Yeah.
you got out here, and that's a whole story. But yeah, I just wasn't really happy. I wasn't really making any money. It just sucked, and it was like a super toxic work environment with all the jobs that I had held pretty much in the industry for those few years. So
Which
I was,
for people to just know, what music position did you have? I do know, but if you want to just describe what you were doing.
yeah, totally. When I first got out here, I was interning at a record label for like 3 months. That was fine. They weren't like hiring any interns afterwards, but then I went to go work at a talent agency, like a smaller talent agency, and it was a good experience because I learned a ton. But like in terms of culture fit and like a healthy work environment, not really, at least from the way that I saw it. And I was also getting paid peanuts, and it just wasn't really sustainable. So yeah, I was working in touring, like music touring,
Mhm.
booking concerts. So it was on the live side.
On the live side, and that was at a why can't I remember the name of it right now? What agency was that?
APA.
APA. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Half my friends didn't work there for 3 years. I have no idea what it's called. I wasn't even
Yeah.
in the acting side myself. One of the biggest agencies. I like how you said small agency, by the way. A little baby
Yeah.
agency, just one of the top five agencies
Yeah. It
going
was a
on right now.
toddler.
A little toddler, a little baby.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself continuing into web design for the near future, or do you want to branch out into more digital creative spaces?
Yeah, absolutely see myself in web design. Honestly, love getting technical and more technical. I really like the coding aspect. I really love design. Um, I love both. I like user experience. It's really awesome. So I really like making web applications. It's my favorite thing over mobile or websites. I love making apps. I'm making an app right now, just like on the side. It's like a job board. I'll send it over when it's done and it's hosted. But yeah, it's called digitaltoast.io. I'm stoked about it.
Oh wow. Okay. What do you mean by digital job board? What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's a job board. So basically, I created this API, and I also created a like a front end web application, and they talk to each other. And the API hosts a bunch of jobs, and the jobs are mostly tech focused, like front end, back end, full stack stuff. And then the front end just like yeah talks to the API and basically like loads it onto this interface, and it's just like a job board. And if you want to filter it out, like let's say you're only looking for back end jobs, yeah, you just click back end and it pulls up a bunch of back end jobs, and
So it's a
it's got like
technicians indeed.
yeah,
If
totally.
Oh, okay, that's interesting because yeah, I feel like Indeed. I got on there because I'm looking for a job right now as well. I got on just to take a look at what there was besides restaurant life, and there's just so much on there, and there's not really a filtering system. That's neat. That's an interesting play. So are you going to go the app route, or do you think you'll stay on the website? What do you do for the websites actually? What is a consisting of a law website? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. I mean, my job is actually like my full time job is it's more on the marketing side of the web, so I don't really do as much coding. I work in like do basic technologies, like the bare bones stuff. But a lot of it is like SEO, like search engine optimization, making sure that like when you go on Google, you'll see the company's name first. Like, let's say you're looking for accident lawyers, like hopefully with SEO optimization, you'll be able to find them on page one. It's also like a lot of accessibility work, so it's making sure that people who are maybe visually impaired, they're able to see um, things on the website that somebody who isn't visually impaired would see. It's like a lot of intricacies, complex yet simple, but
Yeah.
simple yet complex. So yeah, it's basic web stuff. Pretty cool.
Nice. So do you see yourself sticking with websites, or are you going the application route?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to build web apps and products. That's like what I'm really passionate about. So I'd love to get involved with maybe their creative marketing services group. I think they do a bit of that, but ultimately I want to be doing, like web apps. I'm super into that stuff. So
Whenever you say web apps, do you mean like applications or like
yeah,
specifically? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Just making sure. All right. Well, Dylan, I do have a little segment I like to call "How does this make you feel?" And I feel like we'll enjoy this one. It's like the little paintings. I describe this every time. My grandparents now watch, so I'm not going to describe it like I usually do. Some people see a butterfly. Other people see two people having sex. I won't say fucking because my grandfather said I say fuck too much, so I'm not going to say it. Anyways, this is the segment,
Shoot.
and it's just a couple pictures. You tell me how they make you feel, and I'll give a little preface into why I picked it. And the first one is kind of what we were talking about earlier. This picture right here of Uzi and Marilyn Manson, kind of the crossover of these music industries and everything. Where do you see music coming together? Do you see it all becoming jumbled? Do you see there always being separate genres, or where do you see the future of genre music going?
Yeah. So wait. So should I answer this in two parts? In that, how
However
does
you
this make
feel.
me? Okay. Yeah, I'll answer briefly, but in two parts. So, in terms of how this picture makes me feel, yeah, I think it's cool. First of all, Lil Uzi Vert's a Philly guy. I'm a Philly guy. I think it's cool that he's so big. Marilyn Manson, definitely an icon. I don't know a ton about him, but I think with that being said, segueing into the second question, part of the question, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for crossover. There's so many artists from different genres, different decades, different generations that are collaborating. It's always really cool to see. Um, Another cool collaboration that I recently saw that maybe you've seen is like Dominic Fike being on Paul McCartney's new record. Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So I think that there's more opportunity for crossover than ever, and it's like always pretty sick to see.
yeah, it is sick. I always find it interesting, and I think Lil Uzi XX. We were actually talking about the other day how they're kind of bringing emo back. They're bringing these different genres into the rap game that originally a lot of hip hop artists would never be associated with. And it's an interesting crossover. I have to get to this next picture because it's one I've been waiting on for so long. I just need your opinion on this. Whenever you see the picture, please let me know.
Oh wow, it's Jamiroquai. Yeah.
Why is a cheese grater the best background for a music video, and why are you so fascinated with them?
Wow, yeah, yeah. That's a great. This is well researched, well prepared, Jess. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because yeah, Jamiroquai is a great artist. I mean, I deeply respect Jamiroquai. He's dope. Yeah, this was a big backdrop in the early 2000s, a cheese grater approach with music videos, and yeah, it's cool. I don't know why I'm obsessed with cheese graters. My girlfriend, like, yeah, sometimes we'll be on Google, like I'll just be like in bed with her or whatever, and like she'll be like, "Oh, let's Google this real quick," like just something random, and like I'll be like about to type it in, and then I'll just type in rose gold cheese grater just to screw with her. But like I think she expects it now. I don't know. It's just great. It's a great word. It rolls off the tongue really cleanly. It also produces great things, man. Like making great cheese. It can
Does
do a
make
lot
some
of
great
other
shredded
things.
cheese. I mean, yeah, people. It's called a cheese grater, but you don't have to just cut cheese with it. You can cut
Not at
other
all.
things. No, I mean,
Oh, there's plenty you could cut with a cheese grater.
what's
I
the
mean,
craziest thing you've personally cut with a cheese grater?
oh man, that's a good question. I think I've used it as an instrument once. I don't know if that counts.
No, it definitely counts. Really? That's actually amazing, which is gonna make me skip ahead to this one. How do you feel about this instrument right here, this bad boy? I know you got some thoughts on it. You even told we were joking about having a triangle in your band whenever you were first starting out. And why is this instrument so underappreciated? Because I searched the triangle and I had to scroll 3 pages down in order to find this picture of a triangle. For some
Yeah.
reason, I get nothing but documentaries.
Yeah.
So.
Firstly, shout out the Pythagorean theorem. I mean, like this shit would not be possible with that theorem, dude. But with that being said, I don't know. People people sleep on the triangle, dude. And this also reminds me of the episode in Fairly Odd Parents, I think. It's like the electric triangle, something like. But there's a really good episode, and one guy plays the electric triangle, and I don't know. I always thought that it was fresh. So I think going back to maybe our conversation we had, like, I think it's cool. It's almost like the piano necktie.
Yeah. Actually, I wonder, is there like actual songs you can play with the triangle? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah. All you got to do is hit it like a metronome, right?
I don't know. I've actually never really.
To play the triangle, you're going to place the triangle
gonna
in
find
a
out.
triangle holder or
Slap
loop.
the old triangle.
You can also try playing the triangle with your index finger. You can also try playing the.
Wait, hang on. No, I want a full song. I want a song. Full song. Have you ever heard a full triangle song?
I don't know. I didn't even realize there was one that existed.
I feel like there has to. Oh, wow.
That's a big triangle, dude. Huh.
It's a
He
nice
doesn't
add-on.
look like,
What?
dude. He doesn't look like he should be playing the triangle. I don't know.
No, he definitely doesn't. He looks like he should be playing the drums for Kiss. Or literally any other instrument besides the triangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
This guy's definitely a drummer at heart.
oh, hundreds of you can tell how he's
You
hitting
can
it.
tell he has like the drummer face, like the
Yeah,
stank face.
that Tyler Hammond face. I don't know when was the last time he went to jazz with us, but but yeah, we're talking about. I left this thing on. We're talking about concerts earlier, and I know you have a love for concerts, musicians in general, and everything. So, how does situations like this past one with Travis Scott make you feel? And what do you think there is to prevent things like that happening, like crowd swarming or whatever it's crowd suffocation, stuff like that? Do you think there is a solution, or are we just kind of in just kind of go if you want to maybe get trampled? Oh, thank.
Hey,
Hey, there it is. Yep, there it is. Perfect.
I'll retire the headphones. I don't really know what's going on.
We're back. We're back. I have no idea. It sounded like it was in your pocket all of a sudden. That's why I thought it was on your AirPods. But sorry. So you're saying about the concerts. What do you think? You can get You go if you want to get trampled, or have that risk, or is there something that we could maybe do in the future? Is it just a self-respect thing, respect others, or what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a hot topic. I think there's a lot of ties to this like whole demonic, like Travis Scott was like this demonic organism for you know inciting a riot, which in a way, yeah, obviously, well, in all ways, it was wrong. I feel like he obviously shouldn't have incited a riot. Personally, I don't really think he. This might be a weird thing to say, but I actually don't think he has enough experience, performance experience, to even have known what to do. So I think he kind of just went with the energy of the crowd, and he was like, "Oh, well, this feels like it would make history, whether it's good or bad." I'm not justifying what he did. I don't agree with it, but that's what I felt like his perspective might have been. Maybe it was completely different, in that he was actually trying to incite a riot, and he thought it'd be great. But if so, that's terrible. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I mean,
it's
even riots aside, I mean, it does still happen without people inciting riots, And then there also are bands like, screamo bands. I went to a Devil Wears Prada concert whenever I was younger, They, let's mosh, like mosh pits start and people swing at each other, like I got hit in the face. I hit somebody else in the face. Like, it's just a thing that people do. So, I mean, that's them inciting it and it usually ends up pretty good. So, I think it might just be a crazy fan base or something, that just inspires this whole new. I don't know. It's definitely odd because it seems like everybody wants to get so close to the front of the stage that they're just willing to suffocate each other to get there.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even realize this, but I guess like Travis Scott fans are just diehards, like for his whole brand too. I think like for Astroworld, like I remember seeing, I'm sure you saw these as well, and maybe you showed them to me, but the clips, people just rushing the merch booths and stuff. Like people were like hopping the fences that would separate and kind of form those lines. I mean, people were just animalistic. So yeah,
No, I actually didn't see that. But oh yeah, merch line going crazy. One of the first things that pulled up.
dude, yeah. I mean, they were going absolutely haywire.
Oh my god.
Yo, yo,
Very dangerous. People were hopping these fences.
nah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, they're really breaking the fences down.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like as if those fences would have done something.
For sure have a problem.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I guess it is just the fact that they're such diehard fans, which, I mean, would you have anything to say if anybody was a diehard fan for you? What would you tell a diehard fan of yours?
In the situation of
Question.
yeah, in similar situation.
No, I mean just in any like I mean yeah, I guess so. I mean if you had a diehard fan, they would be rushing up to do everything, be at every single one of your shows, rushing to the front, rushing to the merch. What would you tell fans that, act like it's their one chance to see Travis Scott every time they go to see Travis Scott?
Yeah, no, I would say be kind and be careful. I mean, safety is much important than catching a show, in my opinion. So I guess they put the latter before the former in that instance, right?
Yeah. And also another picture I got, which I find very interesting. I'm not gonna personally get one, but Kanye's stem player. How do you feel about this? I mean, musicians obviously taking, more percentage of the music is great. But I don't know if you know this. This also acts as a beat. You can make your own mixes and masters from all the songs that you have on your stem player, and you can make your own little DJ set essentially.
Yeah, I've never seen this. I don't know what this is. What is this?
Oh, this is Kanye's stem player. So he released Donda 2 only on this. So you can't get it on Spotify or anything like that. You have to buy this $200 stem player. And he gets, and all the artists that apparently will eventually be on there, I guess. I don't know who all is even on there yet. But you will get 90% of your revenue instead of the 10% or, less than that Spotify and these other platforms would give you.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool model. Yeah, I had no idea. Kind of feel like, yeah, I'm definitely not hip to that. That's cool. Yeah, I had no idea about that. Like, how do you pick from songs? Is there an application, like a mobile application they use?
I'm pretty sure, but that is a great question. I thought maybe we'd be able to. I should have looked into it a little bit more as well. But I just knew you can make beats on it. It ends up giving musicians, more. But you got to pay $200 for the stem player. I don't know how that works, And then also, how do you feel about buying albums and everything? Do you think that buying albums is a thing of the past? Because you put most of your music on Spotify, which is obviously, free to use. And I mean, you could pay for a subscription so you can listen to it how you want. But where do you think the future of music and the profits from it are going to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's right now it's obviously in streaming, like full-fledged. Yeah, on like a subscription model. I don't think that that's going to go away anytime soon because it just wouldn't make sense, because for $10 a month on Spotify you can get a catalog of billions of songs, whereas an album on iTunes 10 years ago costed $9.99. So in terms of scalability, yeah, it doesn't really totally make sense. I think it's an interesting model. Like, it definitely doesn't benefit the artist too much. Even if you get 5 million plays, you don't really make that much money off of it. That's also not tax, or that the income that you make off of the royalties is taxable, which is kind of crappy. I mean, why would it not be? Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know like what the future of it looks like in terms of streaming, but they're definitely going to figure out a way as technology keeps on progressing how to do how to like scale better and make listening to music more affordable.
As a music artist, do you find that buying albums still to be the way to go, or have you fully embraced the streaming thing and you're more than happy if people stream it, or would you prefer people buy it? What's your personal music opinion for your music?
Yeah, no, I don't really care as an artist. I don't really care how the music's consumed because I'm more invested in building a fan base and people identifying with the music that I make and also the brand, like who I am and my personality and the personality of the project. So I'm kind of like, if you want to buy a single off of Amazon Music, which you can do for all my songs, that's fine. If you want to stream it on Spotify or Apple Music or even SoundCloud, that's fine. I don't really care where I get listens. I guess where it does start to factor in is like on Spotify. A lot of these algorithmic playlists, like Rap Caviar, for example. That's just one example. You know, it always helps the artist if you can, number one, stream their song repetitively, if assuming that you do like the song enough to do so, and also like liking the song and adding it to playlists will help to get you on an algorithmic playlist like that. So I think that there's ways that you can engage your fan base to help build it.
So okay, interesting. So you think Spotify and all these other platforms are great for building on your fan base and career in general and plays, but where album sales really wouldn't, because somebody would have to go and show you their album, show you their piece that they bought, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess it's case by case, but at this point, it's easier than ever to become an independent artist. I mean, you really only need a couple $100 if you want to buy like a solid interface with like a microphone and like a package for you to start recording. Um, and then it's like $30 a year on DistroKid to get your stuff distributed to major platforms like Spotify. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, I'm pretty sure you need like a label and all that jazz to get, so to speak, like to like get on like iTunes and stuff and like the major digital marketplaces, and even to get into CD stores, like you had to like walk up to a CD store maybe and be like, "Hey, my name is Me&Mauve. Like, you know what I mean? You want to buy 100 of my records wholesale and like, put them out, or, So it's like I think it's a lot more accessible in the market to be able to be an independent artist successfully without a label or any other means.
How do you go about? I heard you mention Disco Kid. So getting it on Spotify and everything, how do you go about that? And what's the process on getting all these songs? And picking your genre. I'm guessing you have to upload your cover art. What does all of that entail?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, DistroKid. Yeah. So like, if you, yeah, I mean, if you aren't with a label, especially a major label or a major independent label, and you want to get your songs onto major streaming services like Apple Music and Spotify, and the other ones maybe Tidal, Jay Z's platform. Yeah, you have to use a third party distributor. The one that I use that's I think most popular at this point is just DistroKid.
It definitely
You,
is.
yeah, yeah, you've heard of it.
Yeah, I was trying to get this on Spotify as well, and so somebody mentioned DistroKid to me, and
Yeah, dude, if you need help, let me know.
we'll
It's
do it.
honestly super easy, like getting it all set up. But there's documentation on there for people, who need the help. And I remember getting it set up, yeah, a couple of years ago, and like it was pretty seamless. But they do make it easy for you to do it on purpose because it's really geared towards those independent artists.
Mhm.
So
And oh shit, I forgot what I was just about to ask. Um, well, that's a brain fart. Uh,
it's a lot of energy.
you know, not really. Kinda. Shouldn't be
Yeah.
having this right here. I had a really good question too, and that's why I'm trying to think about it, sort of continuing on. Uh, Shit. Oh yeah. How do you go about? Well, this wasn't the question at all, but we'll move on. How do you go about getting your plays or anything? What do you think is the best advertisement as a young artist that's been working for you? Because I mean, from what I can tell, you're definitely getting some plays. I'm guessing the number next to your Spotify is plays, or maybe it's favorites. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, you're getting plays. That's for sure. I know that. So, what do you think the best advertisement strategy has been for you? And because I know you do newsletters, you do, I mean, you do a lot. So if you want to get into that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the $1 million question. I think for every artist, it's like, how do you get more plays? How do you get more streams? How do you really build an organic fan base? It's something I've been trying to figure out for years, to be honest. Even when I was a manager managing my friend, like I couldn't really figure it out. But I've definitely done the research to figure out a better way to do it from where I currently am and where I have been, and based on the research, and by research I mean like watching YouTube videos and also just talking to friends who are bigger than me who actually have substantial plays, who are on Spotify editorials and stuff, who sell merch, who have bigger fan bases. It's basically just consistency, like releasing a ton of music consistently and behind every piece of music that you release. So like a single, preferably, putting like $100 worth at least of marketing behind each single. So I would say like consistently releasing every probably 6 to 8 weeks and really pushing out content and marketing money under that single. And then I'd say the other way, if you really want to do it for free, is just like, go on TikTok and push TikToks 3 to 4 times a day. You're bound to blow up like in some shape or form, within your niche. Like the game, dude.
Yeah.
But that's like, yeah, I mean that's a pretty reliable source. The one
Speaking of that, have you thought about making adding your song to TikTok? Sorry to cut you off there. How they have their sounds and music and everything. You ever thought about making your own little label so other people can use it on TikTok?
Yeah, no, it's all my songs are on there because DistroKid, I just get it right on TikTok. Like I check off TikTok, so they're all.
Oh, wow. Okay, so DistroKid really does everything for you. You weren't kidding. They make it easy.
Oh yeah, that's great, dude. I highly recommend it. It's cheap too.
You said $30 a month? I mean, 30 a year?
Yeah, it's like 30 or 40 a year, and it just covers the whole entire year. And they don't take any royalties per single or per whatever you want to release. Like whereas a lot of companies they'll take 10% of streaming royalties of like.
Yeah, if your record label gets you onto Spotify, they're taking portions of that for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why distro is great, dude. You just pay like $30-40 up front once a year, done.
Wow. Yeah. And the question I was going to ask earlier came back to me, which is, I noticed that you do make songs very spaced out and everything. Is there a method behind that? Is it the fact that you're perfecting each song? You want every song to be great? Or, what is your process behind releasing? You release a song, every 2-3 months?
Yeah. I mean, I would say 2 to 3 months in a good year. Like, if I could put out a song a month, I would. Because it's a solo. I don't listen. First of all, I'm not the type of person to make excuses, but I think because it's a solo project, like, I do literally everything up until the mastering. So it takes me. I mean, I was able to get 2 songs done in February, like fully mixed, which is the fastest I've ever done songs because I want to be able to employ those strategies that we just talked about. Mm-hmm. Because my strategies the last year and a half I felt like weren't super effective. So like right now I'm putting out songs every probably 3 to 4 months on average. That's way too few and far in between in my opinion, and I would have to start putting out. I mean, my plan is in the spring. Yeah, I'm gonna put out like a song every 6 weeks with some marketing behind it. So I'm excited.
Nice. And whenever it comes to mastering and everything, how because I find this in editing, how nitpicky are you? Like how grueling is it to get that finished product out and ready? What is that path you take? Because I know it is horrendous.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. It's picky as hell. It's picky as hell. I mean,
do you ever have to tell yourself I can't be this critical and I just have to release this? or do you
Yeah,
just not release the ones that you're that critical of?
dude. To be honest, there's not enough people. Like the way I see it is, I just put a TikTok out sort of about this. Like I think that the stuff that you hear in your mix, most people won't hear in the mix unless they're like at the caliber or the intensity at which you mix, and that's like 1% out of the 100% of people, obviously, who listen to your music or podcast or whatever it is. So like, I've had to be able to fully mix 2 songs the last month, which is amazing, at least for me. That at that rate, I've had to put those thoughts away, like really put them in the drawer because I can't sit there and like get stuck on the reverb level of a guitar when at the end of the day it sounds great anyways. So it's kind of taking like a bird's eye view, coming at it with like fresh ears 1 or 2 days later and being like, this does sound good, this is ready to go. So
Yeah,
I've
because
had to
I feel like that comes especially whenever it's artists, but of course I'm sure they have record deals that they have to fulfill. But how they'll Drake, he'll release an album and there's 3 amazing songs on there that you can tell they work their ass off on, and then there's like 5 that are like, you could have maybe left a couple of them off.
yeah.
So do you have some of those songs where you've put out that you're like, this is it, or is it always you just put it on the back burner, let it sit there, and just continue to work on something else, like you were saying?
Yeah, no, it's a good quick side note to one of your points. Honestly, I feel like that's kind of what makes the single shine off of an album, like to the Drake point. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like putting a pretty person against an ugly person, like pretty person's gonna be way prettier. But yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was the question that you'd asked?
That are you always do you always put those songs that you feel like aren't good enough on the back burner? You're also not releasing full albums, so I guess you're kind of forced to on that. But whenever you release a full album, would you put songs on back burners, or would you try to make the full album just phenomenal, or would you actually try to do what you were just saying, throw in a couple maybe songs that you thought weren't amazing to make those other ones shine?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to put out an album, which eventually I will, probably in the next few years. Right now, it's more single focused, but um, I think putting out an album will be great. And you know, honestly, album or not, I do create stuff. Like I'll go into a session, like in my, on my computer, and just I'll work on it for a couple days and table it. So a lot of songs don't make Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever, and that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I think with that being said, sometimes the music that you hear off of like full length albums, like the Drake album, for example, it's stuff that doesn't sound like a hit. It doesn't sound like top 50, so it's like top 50 strong, but it might connect with him in a way where like he felt like it had to make the album. Or there's maybe other reasons, but like I know that there's songs that I put out where I felt like they weren't gonna pop off like on Submit Hub or whatever, like different like playlisting platforms. But, like they were special to me, and that was the only thing that really mattered. So like I have had motives behind releases and songs for for those reasons, but also just other reasons can be like the song is honestly hype, like this is sick, and I feel like people are really gonna listen to it and like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're thinking about doing an album in the future. Do you think you'd have to put together a team to do an album being a solo artist? Are you eventually gonna have to trust somebody else's beats and inputs, I guess is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, honestly, I do trust other people's beats and inputs. Like I would work with people, and I have like the last song I put out, Poison. My friend mixed the top line vocal, like the singing part. Pretty much, he mixed a lot of that part. So like I'll work with friends and people who I do trust their ear and their engineering ability and their production skills. Um, I think for me to my capability of putting together 10 or 12 songs, like undoubtedly I'll be able to do. It's just like the way that the market is going right now. I mean, you see how it is. Like people put out singles, and the album method. It just doesn't really work as much anymore if you're a growing artist. However, if you're like a Dominic Fike, like what we were talking about earlier, you already have a fan base. You should drop an album when the time's ready. Um, just because like it's when the time is ready. But I think as an artist, if you have an artillery of 12 solid songs that are mixed and mastered, spread them out over the course of a year, one song a month, rather than dropping one big album where you don't have a big fan base. Like a few people are only going to listen to your hard work, you know. Whereas with singles, you can promote them as an album each, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And what? So you do eventually see yourself kind of getting together a little group or something like that, just to, or make beats or anything? Like, what do you think you would hire on? Besides, would it just be the mixing and mastering? Would it be some of the beats, or are you just open to all of it?
Yeah, no, I'd be open to all of it. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd be down for whatever for other people to like come on and play guitar on tracks and stuff. I'm super down to collaborate. Honestly, and whether it's an album in the future, an EP, or just a single, like I'm so down to collaborate. I'm talking with my friend about collaborating on a song soon. We'll see, but like my issue with collaborating, especially in this city, is that like everybody's a flake. Like I cannot get people to like. Maybe it's just my style, bro. To be honest, like I'm compulsive. I need to get a song done if I believe in it. But like I just honestly, it's unapologetic. Like I'll just be hitting them up, like, bro, why don't we get back in the studio? Like let's finish the song. And like I just get ghosted. So maybe I'm needy, creativity, and needy to get it done. But I just realized like I jam with like
I wouldn't say needy. I'd say if anything, focused on getting it done whenever it comes to that. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that's one thing is we have a great solid group of friends that aren't flaky, but yeah, as a city as a whole, there's I mean, whenever it comes to creative work, I mean, whenever me and Anthony were trying to get videos together, my buddy Anthony Deo, that I used to do videos with, we always could count on each other, to be able to get there, do the video and everything. But then getting somebody else in line, it was like one thing after another would happen. It's just flake here, flake there. Oh, I don't like that, and it became this whole thing where we could just sit there and think about it. So you gotta find your day out. You gotta find your little grinder. Which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, I was listening to Mr. Beast too, and he said that he always felt like everybody was kind of just weird and flaky with him throughout high school and everything, because all he'd talk about is YouTube. And then he met a group of people that only talked about YouTube, and all of them took off, because the more people you have in the circle, the more mistakes you can learn,
Mhm.
and everything like that. And whenever it comes to albums, what do you think is the reason behind these artists not releasing albums? Like, I know, who was it that was supposed to have an album coming out? Lil Uzi was supposed to have an album coming out for so long, and it never came out. And then Drake and Kanye will push these albums. Donda was only supposed to be a single release, and now Donda 2 is already out, coming right around the corner. Do you think there's a method behind it? Or do you think it's that they're not fully prepared? What's your opinion on these albums that never seem to see the light of day?
You're saying on people like known artists, like the
Yeah.
Kanyes and yeah. Yeah, I don't really know too much surrounding that whole topic. I think I don't know. I mean, thinking of practical stuff, just as myself as an artist, like maybe relating to their situations, if at
Yeah.
all. But I, yeah, I think that it can be tough to prepare an album. The marketing can take a while to get content going, merch, all that stuff. And a lot of times with these big artists, like a tour obviously really helps to push the album, like Astroworld, for example. Um, so, it could have to do with that in a lot of ways. Like with the pandemic, obviously, it
Oh,
poses a bunch of different problems, and people are like, well, we can only play 12 dates. Like, what happened to pre-pandemic? We could play 36 dates. Like, it's not worth going on tour. That's one thing I could probably think of on the top of my head.
yeah, especially recently. That definitely makes sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I guess from your perspective, it would be, that it's also just probably not ready. The marketing isn't there. And I also think it's also a marketing plan on its own, like get people hyped up for the album, and then, oh, it's not here yet. You got to wait another month. So it builds that anticipation,
Yeah.
factor. If you have a big enough fan base, would you ever think about what do you think is your best marketing plan that you have right now, since you have been looking into it. If you want to, or if you don't want to spill your secret, you don't have to. But
No, I have no secrets over here. Definitely isn't Grandma's kitchen over here. No, I mean, I think TikTok is helping my fan base a little bit more. I was like all over it last week, and then I just dropped off. I was like, bro, this is a lot. Like, but I'm gonna continue to do it semi consistently. But I think what I'm gonna invest a little more into is definitely consistently putting music out. So right now I'm just kind of creating this artillery of songs to release in the late spring. I'm hoping to have like 4, 5, or 6 done, so that I can just schedule them, and while those are coming out, keep making more music. And with each single, with that being said, just put marketing spend behind it, like doing targeted Instagram and Facebook ads. That shit's really effective, bro. So I'm excited to do that. And with that being said, like also just keep doing TikTok. And
I'm
yeah,
about to ask, what do you think is more effective, TikTok or Facebook and Instagram?
yeah, you mean like the free content
No, I mean just
versus
what do you think is more effective of bringing people to see your music and to see your content?
TikTok for sure.
Right? Yeah,
TikTok's like a platform, bro.
it's very sick for, especially like I know Russ, he just had a whole duet thing that he was doing. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yeah.
he just essentially let people duet, and he was like, I found a whole bunch of amazing artists that I'm trying to get on my next album, and that's just from that alone. So yeah, I mean that would be something else just to throw in there too, is you could maybe remix some of the beats, or do some vocals on top of theirs, just kind of mix and master some stuff on there too. That way people know your funk and then come to check out your funk. Just an idea I'm throwing out for you. And what do you think the frequency that you post on TikTok is? Like, what do you think your key is? Because I personally think once a day is solid, but I heard you earlier saying 3 to 4 times. So what do you think is the best? Do you think it's quality or quantity that really helps you on TikTok?
Yeah, no, yeah, man, it's definitely like the golden question. I think like 3 times a day is healthy if you can get all those ideas out in a healthy amount, like in a healthy way. And I think the content needs to be okay. I don't really think it needs to be insanely good. I think it needs to be informative, and hopefully clever. And then after that, I think it's just more so about quantity, because the more shots you take, the more more chances it's going to go in. So yeah, I'd say more so focused on the consistency, because I feel like your process will get refined, the quality will get refined over time too.
Yeah, that's been my problem whenever it comes to TikTok, is that I'll have a clip and I'll be like, I need quantity, I need to post. This clip is okay, and then I post it and I'm like, it was okay. Uh, and I end up going back and deleting it. It's a
Yeah,
revolving circle that I go through. I have so many videos that I've just posted and deleted the next day, whether it's the interviews or gaming or any of that. And so it's always been a struggle for me. But yeah, I find the day to day, because I had 2 of them kind of do okay, which I mean, literally just okay on TikTok. And I mean that was whenever I was posting day to day, and then I've posted better quality content since then, but not as frequently, and have not gotten near the views as what in my opinion wasn't near my best videos. I was just posting consistently, so they ended up both getting it. That's an interesting thought. And I do have one more question. And then I mean, if you want to add anything to it, when's that next single coming out, baby?
yeah, that's a good question, bro. Well, yeah, I have these 2 singles done. They're fully mixed. I finished the second one last night. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to put something out. My plan was like mid-April, but it might be looking like early May at this point. I know it's sort of a long jump, but like I'm really invested in the process of making like kind of an artillery of music. I know I keep saying that, but sort of like a catalog, so that I can schedule it out. Um, so yeah, probably like early May. Um, yeah, I need to get all the marketing materials, but it's gonna be cool, man. I'm excited.
Nice, nice. And so you're gonna try to come out with the song in May, and then 6 weeks later go from there on to the next one.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
And
much.
I actually do have another question. do you look back on your songs or do you just keep looking forward? Do you look back and like, this one I liked a lot, maybe I should start doing more like that, or do you just keep pressing forward with your ideas that you have?
Yeah, no, I mean, I use my songs as a reference for sure. I think I'm probably more focused on forward because if you listen to, I mean, the difference in musical styles from when I first put out my, the first song to like my fifth or sixth or seventh song or something, they're just vastly different in my opinion. So I think I'm probably more so looking forward in an effort to experiment and kind of like get outside of my comfort zone. Yeah, but I do reference my past songs. I'm like, yeah, like this was cool. Definitely did work, but I do listen to a lot of stuff moving forward. I'm like, I do want to try this in the next song.
Do you have a favorite?
A favorite song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The artist's worst question.
Oh man, like just any, just like favorite of all time that I've put out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's all together a favorite.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I'm really proud of my last single, Poison. It didn't really do that well because I feel like I didn't like do enough to market it. But I also really like Glassy Eyes, that song that I did.
Glassy Eyes is great. My personal favorites are How We Really Feel and Glassy Eyes. I love them all, of course, but those two, oh, I love them. I don't know what it is about How I Really Feel, but just the opening, I love it. Oh wait, no, that's Glassy Eyes.
Yeah, dude. No, they're both good. They're like kind of indie dance, like sort of funky songs. I'm glad you like them, dude. Yeah. How It Really Feels a good one. It's like super funky, like Frank Moody vibes. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Frank Moody is one of your inspirations too, right? You mentioned them earlier.
Yeah.
I remember.
They're actually playing tomorrow, dude, downtown.
Oh, really? Are you gonna go?
Was gonna, but it's completely sold out. So.
Surprise. Well, you saw them not too long ago, right? Right before COVID, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Noah and I saw them in the fall before COVID. Yeah, it was cool.
Well, Dylan, that's all I really got. Unless you want to add anything, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna play your one of your songs right now and jam out as we close to it. But happy early birthday, by the way.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. Thanks.
Said I'm waiting on the sunrise. Said I'm waiting on my own demise. I'm looking through these glassy eyes, and I'm thinking about you sometimes. When I start doing the drink, I'm upset. When you start doing that thing, I'm upset. Don't hate me cause I'm beautiful and keep my shows live. Take me to the grave if I keep my 9 to 5. I'm destructive when I'm bored. Vices oozing out my pores. I mash my cigarette just to argue with the floor. I said I want you and I miss you and I need you by my side. And I'm up late, it's an issue. Let's just make it right. Said I'm waiting on the sunrise. Said I'm waiting on my own demise. I'm looking through these glassy eyes, and I'm thinking about you sometimes. I said I travel miles and miles and miles just to see the sunlight. And yeah, it took a while just to get my mind right. I said I want you and I miss you and I need you by my side. And I'm up late, it's an issue. Let's just make it right. Said I'm waiting on the sunrise. Said I'm waiting on my own demise. I'm looking through these glassy eyes, and I'm thinking about you sometimes.